Yeah, I hear. Okay. You'll hit record?
Yeah.
Okay. Mute mic. All right, we're about to get started. You'll let us know when we're ready? Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. We're opening up our meeting. It is 7:02, Thursday, May 23rd. Welcome.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with our public gallery sessions. Just a reminder, 3 minutes in total, 2.5 minutes to speak, half a minute to review and give feedback. Do we have anyone that is speaking that's here for the public gallery, not the presenters? Yes? Did you sign? Did everybody sign in? Okay. You can go first. And just make sure you speak into the mic.
So placing our windshields, thank you. Unfortunately, we are still being cited for parking with the postal placards. Okay, we fight these tickets, they are denying them, we still have to pay out of pocket. We are confused as to which way to go with this issue. So if anyone has any leads to it that can assist us, guide us, it will be grateful. I'm sorry?
Where is this?
232nd Street between the postal parking lot and White Plains Road along the side of the post office.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll try and do it now. This is not a new request for this community board. I can't find any evidence that there was ever any no parking there. And that's when we took this to DOT years ago, and I did a Google Earth. That's what I was gonna do right now. A Google Earth, you can see from the map history that it's not there. So when was the last time that you had this? What year? Please don't speak from the audience. If you're gonna speak in the microphone.
About 10 years, give or take.
Yeah,
It's been about 10 years. And we've been inquiring on it since then.
So it's been more than a decade, longer than I've been here.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know what to say. This is something that the Community Board Transportation Committee can look into, but I will just say that we've had experience now with White Plains Road and with the bike lanes. I don't know that limiting more parking is a suggestible thing.
Well, I mean, at this point, it doesn't make much of a difference. The truck loading zones have been implemented. They're not responding accordingly.
No, I understand, but the thing is, the problem that we have in this community board is that there is a lack of enforcement from the local precinct.
Correct.
The parking, as I understand it, even for FDNY, for the NYPD, it's not for the use of your personal vehicles. It is for use of the post office truck, if that were the case. So what we have with FDNY using illegal placards to park their vehicles, and the same thing with the NYPD, those are problematic. The problem is the only enforcement agency that writes summonses besides the NYPD is the Department of Sanitation, and they're not writing those summonses. So we're in a conundrum. You're making a request to restore parking that hasn't been there for more than a decade.
Correct.
And I don't know if that's enough justification, especially in light of the fact of what's going on White Plains Road right now. As a matter of fact, that's part of my report on a completely unrelated subject, is going to talk about that very issue about White Plains Road and revisiting some of the things that we've done. So again, that's something that the committee can consider.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's in the best interest of the community at large, because parking is such a valuable commodity these days in light of what's happening with the bike lanes, the loading zones, and everything that's happening on White Plains Road.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Next, we have Valerie.
Hello, I'm here for two reasons. One, to introduce myself, and the other is to ask for your help and guidance. So my name is Valerie Hall. I am here on behalf of the 3200 Mickle Avenue Block Association. I'm here to formally say that we are reviving the association. Formally, I believe you guys all know or maybe remember, or some of you have worked with J.W. Smith. He is the person, the namesake of the block. We named the block after him. I never met him, but what has happened is we noticed that there was an area where, on the edge of where we live, on our corner, where Mickle meets Burke, there's an abandoned space that had been consumed by lots of garbage. And so what I initially wanted to do was start a community garden, and so I went door to door and I met my neighbors, and everyone was talking about Mr. J.W. Smith and how much they missed the activities of the Block Association, and so here I am. And so basically it's just, I'm here now, I'm representing the Block Association. The neighbors are excited to come together and be a part of something again. And also, I literally was just intending to start the block, to start the community garden by myself, really, just with the support of the neighbors. But now that it seems like there's a lot of communal support, and I've been encouraged to talk to council and just to ask for your help and ask for your guidance. I've had a very wonderful conversation with Ms. Dickerson, who is going to be posting my information, my contact information on the chat. And so if there's anything that any one of you could do for us as we look to turn over this wild piece of land and turn it into something that, you know, we can enjoy as neighbors. Do you know who owns the land? Excuse me? Who owns the piece of property? So it's city property. Anything else?
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh, hi.
Oh, first of all, kudos to you. That gentleman, J.W. Smith, is a hell of a man. He used to give out free food. Everybody went to that place. Please continue that. I'm glad you came up with your neighborhood advisory situation. That's fantastic. Yeah. All right, since it's city property, needs to be investigated. But please keep up the good work. All right?
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Anything else? No? All right.
Alfredo, anybody else that can offer some insight for her or means of what processes she needs to do since it is a city property?
I mean, we could find out who owns the property. I mean, besides the city owning it, like what city agency owns it? Is it Parks, DEP?
So I have worked with the office of the councilman, Kevin Radley. And so I've had conversation with Cynthia, and we've looked at maps, and there's no owner, because it's literally like just a strip of land that's just overgrown weeds and trees. And I think the MTA actually is responsible for a portion of that area. So we petitioned. I knocked on about 40 people's doors, and actually Cynthia's here now to jump in and save me. So
I'm not saving you. You got it. You got it. Just to give the point of clarification. For the point of clarification, so it's the dead end against where the 5 train goes. So part of it is the MTA right of way. The rest of it is an uncut street. And so we've been reaching out both to the MTA and to the DOT, but I know the community board process is usually part of that, so that's why I invited her to come.
All right, so connect after with our chair of the Transportation Committee, John Isaac, and we'll bring you to committee, and then we'll take it from there.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I had to go ask Ursula. We've done this already. There was a letter of support written about before the pandemic. So 5, 6 years ago, there was a gentleman that came here, wanted to do the very same thing that you're talking about, community garden. And I just asked Ursula if we can find the letter of support. We had an issue with our server. Tried to image Windows 11 on it and basically crashed our server, so I don't have any access to it right now. But I will get you the letter of support because I feel like it sounded familiar. The councilman's office sent us an email with regards to it, with regards to the cleanup request. Not so much for the community garden, but I do recall there was a gentleman that came to the community board many years ago and asked for a community garden there, and the community board, oh my goodness, who was the chair of the park? This went through our Parks Committee, and it may have been Ivan, or even before then. Yeah. And we said yes to it. So I will, the request that we got from the councilman's office, I'm not reading it the right way. It wasn't necessarily for the request for a community garden. And I think you requested something else of us, right? Like a letter stating that there was a community organization there. So we're going to get you that as well.
So I do have a letter actually here with me. I know that the community board had petitioned for a speed bump. And I know that was denied because of some interference with driveways and such. But I also know that the neighbors of my block, they have been complaining about dumping.
No, it's been a long-standing issue.
Yeah.
But when you started talking about the community garden, I'm like, and I just wanted to, like I said, that's why I walked over to my coworker. So I'll get you the letter. We'll follow up after this.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And we've also supported Ujama Bronx Community Garden. She may have some leads in terms of the gardening part. Ujama, we'll share that with you.
Yeah, Ujama. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else here in person for public gallery session? Anyone online? Going once, going twice?
Good evening.
Pull up the participant list.
Good evening.
I think that's it.
I don't see any hands.
Hello.
Okay, we're gonna go to Bronx Works, who will be discussing the Family Enrichment Center and the CB12 connection.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Weed, Assistant Executive Director at Bronx Works. We're a nonprofit social service organization and wanted to introduce ourselves to you. I'm here with several of my colleagues, including Tiffany Dorch. We're already in this community. We're working currently at Edenwald houses and Baychester houses. Those were NYCHA conversions to private developers. And so we're the social service programs in those different sites. The other thing I want to announce is that we were funded for a 5-year National Institute for Health program where we're going to be studying health inequities in those houses, plus 10 other conversions throughout the Bronx. But I mention those houses because they're in your community board. And at some point, we'd like to come back and talk to you more about that. But now we have, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dorch, who's going to talk about a brand new funded program that's starting in July.
I'm sorry, can you bring it back to the sites you were talking about? We missed that.
Edenwald houses and Baychester?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, John. So I'm so excited to announce that we have a new initiative supported by the Administration for Children's Services called the Family Enrichment Center. I'm really especially proud of this initiative because it's a chance for us to involve the community in every decision that we've made. So we don't have a space right now, we don't have a plan or design for program services because we're looking to form an advisory council that would advise us on the program, the design, and what you all would like in this community. We're really looking and trying to do outreach for people who live or are heavily involved in Community District 12 to join our advisory council and help us co-design this program from the ground up, help us look for space, help us design the program, recreational activities and workshops that we can have, and really create a sense of family in this recreational center. So I would like to reach out to all of you and just implore you, please sign up and contact me if you would like to be a part of the advisory council. I believe everyone can participate in this program. If you have a skill, if you cook, if you dance, if you do poetry, please reach out and offer your services up so we can design this recreational center together. Thank you.
I have a question. Who's your target population again? It's anyone, any family member in the district?
We're really looking for parents, community members, people who reside in this community district because you know the needs of your community the best.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes. I'd like to say that I'm going to suggest that you contact Walter McNeil and Sandra Gross. Okay. They both are presidents of those developments that you're dealing with. That's number one. But my next question is, why haven't you reached out to other NYCHA developments? I happen to be a president of a NYCHA development that has not gone into the PAC program, and we can use your expertise.
Well, tonight is definitely an announcement, so thank you so much for giving us that.
Yes, but I think your question was around why are we not in other developments besides Edenwald and Baychester? But we are in 10 other sites, but they're in other parts of the Bronx. The RAD conversion from NYCHA to private development, that's not something that we can dictate. That's a city-run program. So those buildings get a gut rehab, but the developer has to partner with a nonprofit to provide social services, and that's what we're doing at those sites. And we do know those, Ms. Gross and the gentleman you mentioned.
Okay, well, we could still work something out. I have a non-for-profit.
Okay.
So we can still talk. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm sorry, one other recommendation is that you connect with Ms. Talene Dickerson. She is the chair of our Youth and Education Committee, because I think this does deserve a larger conversation.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any of our board members? Any questions? Any of our board members online?
If I may, just want to say my information is in the chat.
Thank you, Talene. Okay, now we're moving on to Basil Straker.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Basil Stryker. I'm the senior pastor of Beulah Church of God, 7th Day, located at 986 East Gunner Road. We have been there. Previously we were on East Chester Road by the fire station. We have been at this present location since 2001. We do, especially during COVID, we do a lot of food distribution, and we have members who work at the various hospitals in the region, and they were very instrumental during COVID. Now, we have been having challenges with parking, and the matter has been exacerbated since they put up a parking meter right on our block. I reached out to the Arista Cruz last fall, and she gave me an explanation about improvements of the road, and we see all that, the changes that have happened. But it's very challenging for my members when we have our worship service on Saturday to find parking. A couple of members have been issued parking tickets, and I would like to know how we can have this addressed. Darissa told us that in a response to me, she said that a number of businesses are located. It's a commercial area. We have 2 churches on our block. We have a pet store and we have a real estate store. That's about it. And with parking is a premium already. And then now I'm seeing they put up 2 major structures on the opposite side. It's very difficult for my members, and would like to know how can the city, I was asking if they could remove that meter from there because it's kind of like causing great stress on us.
So just a little more context for our board members. Pastor Stracker, we did not vote on this as a community board. This was part of a package that DOT presented to the community board when they implemented the bus lanes on, and the street, I forget what the technical term is, but they've been making improvements to Gun Hill Road. And part of those improvements were meters so that people could park. I understand your concern. I don't know of a delicate way. I mean, I would ask any of my board members if they have advice. I mean, meters are not in effect on Sundays, but you're talking about a Saturday. What time are the meters from? What time to what time? I'm sorry?
The meters go from Saturday, it goes from, I believe, 9 a.m. from in the morning right up until about 6, 7 in the evening.
Well, Sunday there is no meters. Sunday,
that's right. Sunday it's not in effect, but we are a Sabbath keeping church, and it has been difficult. And furthermore, also we have tractor trailers that also is taking up additional parking spot on the road, and I'm surprised that unfortunately have not ticketed them. So we are really great inconvenience, and we do community outreach, and I think for us to be, we were not contacted, we were not involved in the process. We did not get any letter or notification of what changes would have been taking place.
Excuse me, I would like to ask a question. Can you please repeat the name of your church?
Beulah Church of God, 7th Day. That's B as in boy, EULAH.
You said 7th Day, the 7th Day Adventist?
Not 7th Day Adventist, 7th Day Church of God.
Okay, 7th Day Church of
God. One of my board members leaned over and told me this is the site of the 2 construction projects, right?
It's opposite. It's opposite. Not. It's between my church is at the corner of Paulding.
No. So this for our board members, just so that they know, this is the 2 buildings that look very similar, opposite one
That's
each other
correct.
on Gun Hill Road.
Yes.
All right. Just so that for placement. Go ahead, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Straker, I would only suggest, and I don't think it's legitimate, but everyone is now using that Rite Aid parking lot to store their vehicles. Technically, it should not be done, but I see Cherry Market Valley doing it, and because of that, you're on your own. It's just a suggestion.
I hear you, but I think, I see how the city plays because I'm aware of Jewish neighborhood because they have such a strong voice. They have put up meters. Well, I know this happened in Brooklyn, and how they have put up meters and they speak out and they take down those meters. Now, our strip of block that we're on is not much any commercial building apart from a pet store, which is not really commerce. And you have real estate place. Nothing much going on. So it's not a matter of that people are taking these spaces during that time. You know, it's, you know, I don't, I would like to know what else can be done, because to me it just seemed like it's just punitive, and
All right. Well,
it's very
so-
hard for us if we come to worship and we have to be under this duress. It's very challenging. So I would like to know what or where I can escalate this, if you guys can help me.
So just a real quick point. The pastor mentioned that he spoke already to Darissa Cruz, who is the Deputy Borough Commissioner for DOT here in the Bronx. I'm sorry?
Alina says she'll follow up too.
Oh, okay. The second issue, we just literally had this with our first constituent. We can take it to the committee, but I don't know, again, this is not, you're requesting for your church no parking on Saturdays. What is that to stop any other house of worship from requesting the same thing?
But I don't have a problem with that happening for churches of worship. You know, we are non-profit, we are community-based, we do a lot of good in the community. And so, you know, if we're not operating like a business, we're not a commercial business, we're not selling things, we're just there worship, and we do community outreach work. So I'm looking at it from that point. And for most other churches, are worship on a Sunday, so it just by just the nature of the way the parking meter works, it's not in effect on Sunday.
So Pastor
Yeah.
Straker,
Yes.
I think that you should really connect with your NCOs, the neighborhood community officers, because I know that prior to the bike lanes on White Plains Road for my church, we had a break from them for a certain amount of hours if we double parked in front of the church during that time. And I believe that if you connect with them and they know, they will not ticket the people who are attending church at that time. It doesn't go on for all day on Saturday, but for during the hours of the church service, you would get a break. So you just need to be familiar. I'm not sure what sector you're in, if it's, you know, but you need to connect with them. It's Gun Hill Road, and where are you exactly?
At the corner.
Yeah, it's the 47th precinct, but who are your neighborhood community officers? Because they'll exchange numbers with you, and you'll be able to tell them when you're having events that you have a big event, and they are pretty lenient if you're connected to your neighborhood community officers. The precinct council meeting is also on Wednesdays. I think it's the third Wednesdays of the month.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'll reach out to them on that. And by the way, one other thing concerning parking, why are tractor trailers parking on these streets? I thought tractor trailer have to park elsewhere. They take up almost 3 car lengths on the road. Is that?
I'm sorry, Mr. Straker. Thank you so much. We do have a time limit, but we do invite you to come back to committee.
Well, just real quick, Pastor, you're in Sector A as an apple.
Yes.
The next meeting of your NCO officers is on June 6th at 7 p.m. at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. You know where St. Luke's is?
Yes.
On East
June 6th at
June
7 p.m.
6th at 7 p.m. St. Luke's Episcopal Church, which is 777 East 222nd Street. Your 2 NCO officers are Police Officer Jeffrey Reisenauer and Police Officer Vincent Canale.
Can you put it in the chat?
Vincent.
Copy it and put it in the chat for you.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
Thank you, George. Next up, we have Judy Desiree with Uptown Boogie with some updates for us. Judy?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Let me see if
Good evening.
Show my sparkly face. Okay, yay! Hi, I'm Judy. farmers market and open street is coming June 1st. Sorry for the background noise. The update is, sorry, I don't know if you hear all that. Okay. Open streets, the Hort is, I think, on the line also, and they're going to speak more about what items are going to be ordered. But for now, we're creating an eating area, not eating area, I shouldn't say that. They're going to have picnic tables and chairs so people could sit and relax during the market time. Then we also have a DJ that is being sponsored by MCP, Marshall Conservation. They're providing a DJ, so that allows us to have a party. So that's new and exciting that we're going to have a party for the opening and hope everybody comes out and have a good time. The nonprofit area, which is one of the squares, is full. So we have a lot of nonprofits who are interested. A lot of healthcare providers are going to come and bring resources and information. The Bronx Medical Health, they're opening up a new clinic. So they're going to introduce themselves. They have a table. So we have a lot of organizations that are going to come and give resources. So that is full for the first day. We officially have 2 farmers, big farmers. One of the big farmers, they're all upstate New York, organic practicing. They're going to bring down yogurt, honey, including a lot of fruit. And so we want people to buy, and just come out and support the farmers. And we also have a few other vendors. Mashur is also sponsoring a few vendors that will be there, I think about 6. So in total, we may have, I want to say about 10 vendors for the first day. So it's going to be a nice, packed, hopefully beautiful, sunny day. So that, we're excited about that. The only issue is Fordham University is loaning us a mobile kitchen, and it will literally, from what I've been told, it looks like a kitchen. And they come with a U-Haul and they bring it, and that will provide cooking demos. So we're working with Lehman College and a few dietitians to use their community hours at the market. The kitchen requires electricity, so we're gonna try to get a generator to get it going, but we need storage for it. So we could have it every Saturday if we have a place to store it. And that's where we're running into a problem, is storage. So if anybody knows someone in the street, across the street somewhere, where we can store the information table, tent, and the mobile market, that would be great. We're still looking into restrooms. A lot of unfortunately, the businesses said no. And so we're still looking at restrooms. You know, the last resort may have to be a porta potty. I don't know, but I'm still going out, knocking on some of the businesses and see if they allow the vendors to utilize their restroom. So that's one of the big, the two big things, are storage and restroom, that we still need support with. And spread the word. Let everybody know. I will share. I gave Luke a flyer, but I will provide the board another flyer that talks about Open Street and the closure and coming out. We still have the kids program. That's still going to go on. Kids will receive $2 to shop at the market for fruits and vegetables. So they will shop within the 2 farmers, and that's an incentive. And the clothing drop-off, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but you can drop your clothes off. It could be used, ripped up. It could still have its tag, whatever condition. The organization Green Tree Textile will give it some love elsewhere. And they will bring a bin. They're not tabling it, anything. It's just a big green bin where you just drop your items in. So those 2 are still going on. Yeah, I'm always looking for sponsors. If you know anybody who's willing to pay for print.
Thank you, Judy. We definitely want to continue to support that. Can you send us an email with the things you still need support with? so that on our end we can try and figure out how we get you those resources. And secondly, I don't know if you were here at the last meeting where we spoke about having a community board table where we can generate some ideas and assess the need. So we can talk to you offline for that as well. But if you can, we'll set up a meeting offline, but we should have a list of what your needs are so that we can figure out how to get you those resources.
Yes, you're always welcome to table. The table is yours, the space is yours. Bring many tables, bring many people. I'm working with DOT for providing table and tent. So we could, hopefully people can, who may want to come but don't have a table and tent to provide information. So we're still looking into that. But yeah, you're welcome because we have the street and the plaza for community outreach.
Super exciting. Thank you so much. Yay. And do you want to introduce the Hort? Georgia, you're here?
I'm here.
The floor is yours.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Judy. Thank you all. So thanks so much for having me. My name is Georgia Faulkner, and I'm with the Horticultural Society of New York. We are a 120-ish year-old nonprofit organization with the mission to improve human life through horticulture. And through our contract with the Department of Transportation, we provide horticulture operations, maintenance, and technical assistance to open streets and plazas throughout the city. And like Judy mentioned, starting next month, which is next week, we will be providing services to the 212th Open Street. So working with Judy, we will set up and break down the open street on Saturdays from the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll also be cleaning the block. And lastly, we'll be working with DOT to get planters installed on the open street. Those planters will be planted seasonally throughout the year and maintained year-round, including regular watering. So we really look forward to being a part of this open street, and thank you again for having us today.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, did I miss, did you speak a little bit about what your involvement was for Earth Day and the things that you were doing with the families that were there?
Oh, absolutely. So we provided plant-focused programming on Earth Day, April 20th. And what that looked like was an aromatherapy workshop. Our organization does horticultural therapy and education throughout the city. So we take those lessons learned and bring them into public programs on open streets and plazas. So hoping to get some more public programming to 212th this year.
Thank you. Judy, do you have access to the chat? Christine Rivera has a question she would love to table. If you can just connect in the chat, she's with the Excellence Community Schools.
Yes, I will. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. If anybody has sanitation contact, because we would like for them to clean up the squares. I did reach out to sanitation and they weren't sure who was in charge or whatever, but the two plazas need cleaning before we arrive. And we were told we were not allowed to do it ourselves, that someone, either parks or sanitations, to do it, but the two agencies are just pointing at each other.
Thank you. Hold on. Hold on one second, Judy. George will address it.
Okay.
It's 212, right under the train. Okay. Thank you. George is going to look into that.
Okay.
Yes.
And the planters, just so everyone knows, there's an island that was created by DOT to close off where the parking is supposed to start, where people were inappropriately parking. The planters are going to do is, we noticed some cars trying to go through the island, and the planters will hopefully create a bit of a barrier so that the cars don't kind of slide through, especially during the open street days. So we want to keep everyone safe.
Great. Somebody had a question? No? Okay. Thank you, Judy. Again, just send us that list of things that are still outstanding and we can figure out how to support.
No problem. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Just as a reminder, that starts June 1st. That's next Saturday, not this one, the following, and it goes through November 23rd. Okay, next up, we're going to close that part of the agenda. We're going to move on to elected officials and representatives, and we'll start with those that are in person. First up, in order of the sheet that we have, Alina.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I do see some new faces, so I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alina Dow. I am the Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Community Affairs. Nice to see you all. So I did just want to share that the mayor did make an announcement that 75 illegal cannabis smoke shops that were ordered to close, and nearly $6 million in penalties and over 3,300 counts of violations were issued just during the first week of this operation. And I know that's been a big thing. A lot of the different communities, including yours, have been complaining about that. In addition, the mayor also announced that over 12,000 families were serviced with maternal and infant health services since the expansion of his doula program and home visiting. You know, the mayor is a champion of making sure that especially minority women, all women are able to receive quality health care, and having babies is one of the issues, and doulas have been able to help significantly. In addition, obviously, as you're aware, the mayor kicked off the City of Yes. So I believe that today you guys are going to be talking about it. I know it was presented at your land use committee. I do apologize I wasn't able to attend, but I was trying to follow up to see what's going to happen. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say tonight about it. Also, the mayor has served over 750 family members of fatal overdose victims, and this is the first in the nation to provide this support program. As you're aware, fentanyl is hitting our streets, probably just as strong as the crack and heroin epidemic. So, you know, being able to help families deal with this was really important to him. As well as, he also made an announcement that there's going to be a curriculum on hate crime and their impact in our New York City schools. I think I mentioned before that the mayor is really pushing in on our kids, and this is another way to make sure that they understand how serious hate crime is and how it impacts everyone. And because he wants to double down on his efforts to prevent shooting and homicides, well, you know that we had the 1,200 officers that just graduated, but the mayor has vowed to get at least 35,000 new officers in the communities. That's his goal. That's what he's aiming for. So please, if you have some kids, if you have nieces, nephews, grandchildren, your own kids, let's tell them to sign up to be, you know, law enforcement and bring back that sense of security and prideship in our law enforcement. I also did, I don't know if the person is still online regarding the church. I know that Gun Hill Road is a very busy corridor, and having the church there probably is gonna serve as a little difficult, but we can have a meeting with him, and I can get their contact information. My number is 914-446-8393, and my email is adowe, that's A-D-O-W-E, at cityhall.nyc.gov. I always make myself available. You guys, I know many of you, if you need me, just feel free to give me a call anytime. In addition to that, I do want to just say have a happy and safe Memorial Weekend, and thank you to all those that continue to serve, protect, and serve us. Thank you. Any questions?
No, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Councilmember Eric Dinowitz's staff. I can't understand the name. Hi, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I know that I've seen y'all a lot virtually, so I wanted to make it a point to come in person. I'm gonna keep my update pretty short, pretty brief, just for clarity and time's sake. So first thing, we had the DOF, or Department of Finance, in office yesterday. Great agency to have in the office in case you want to go over paying tickets, disputing tickets, property tax, different things with your property, like assessments. So they were in the office on the 22nd, which is yesterday. We'll also have Julio in the library on the 30th from 10 to 5 at Wakefield. Okay, so I wanted to go over some things that the council member shared with me that he wanted to make sure that we went over today at the CV12 meeting. So last week, he was at Bissell Gardens with Senator Bailey, and he spoke there for the event that he was having at the ceremony. We're also working with the NYPD regarding the illegal car washes, which has been something that's been brought to the office's attention a lot. We want to make sure that for the illegal car washes, we are keeping on top of like what the NYPD is doing to go. I know it does take time for them to go and investigate because they have to do that first, but we try to make sure that we're talking to them regularly about it. And then, of course, you can also send in pictures, videos that you have with coordinates for the streets as well, which is very helpful when we talk to the precinct. Let's see. So also we've had 2 meetings, speaking of the NYPD, this month. So the first one was a meeting that we happened to have with Parks Department. I was there, so precinct, the council member's office, Parks Department, and the NYPD. We were able to talk to them about the issue going on with Chandler Field. We're trying to get a jump on everything early because we know that the noise complaints have been ongoing for quite some time. So we want to make sure that we're doing something about that early on before it gets to be too raucous. They did say that they have gone, so they are responding when everyone calls and they put in their complaints about Chandler Field, but they said they don't see anything. We're asking them, and we've asked them to submit pictures when they're responding so that we see and we can share with the community that nothing's going on. Camera footage is a little harder to get, but we're asking that they give us something to just show, like there's nothing going on. The community says there is, so we're inclined to lean that way and ask that they do diligence. Okay, and then we talked about Chandler's Field. So we also today passed 311 legislation. So they're gonna have to tell you what the whole time is gonna be while you're on the phone waiting to do your 311 service complaints, which is great because most other places do that. As far as like customer service, most places will tell you you're gonna be on hold 50 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. So I think that's very helpful. And then last but not least, direct updates from me. So I have been getting a few calls and emails about stolen SNAP benefits still, and then also about a publisher's clearinghouse scam that they're asking people to give in money in hopes that they get a bigger payout. If you get something like that in the mail, your email, anything, please call the office, and I'm happy to help. But please don't give anybody money that's asking you via email or in mail to tell you that you're gonna get money later. It's usually gonna be a scam, almost always. Let's see, and as far as any other issues that you might have, feel free to call into the office. The number is 718-549-7300. And then my email is F like Frank, L-A-T like Tom, C like Cat, H-M-A-N like Nancy, at council.nyc.gov. You can also Google the address for the office, 277 West 231st Street. If you open that link that comes up, you'll get all our information. You can call the office, stop in. I love walk-ins. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything you want to bring to the council member's attention or to the office's attention, if you need anything, I really do sincerely mean, please call me. Any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I contacted you on May 13th, requesting photos of the...
Could you get on the mic? Could you get on one up there? You can go right up there.
Sorry, I don't have a mask like you.
It's okay.
Okay, so I emailed you on the 13th.
Me?
Yes, you're Fedries?
Yes.
Okay. I initially sought your help in getting a tree trimmer because we have lots of broken branches and my sidewalk from all the roots, which I had a hard time getting insurance.
Yes.
So you requested photos from me. I provided you with the photos.
Yes.
I never heard back from you regarding the trees.
Yes.
However, you did email me that you're going to contact DOT.
Yes.
I don't need you to do groundwork for me. I already did that. It's going on 4
You made that
years
very
now.
clear in the email.
Correct. And so I'm still waiting. To this morning, we did have a storm. My whole sidewalk, I mean, it wasn't that long, but every time there's wind, there's rain, there are branches all over the place. So how can I get help for that?
So I can definitely help. Do you want me to give you the information or send you screenshots of what I've been working on? I could do that as well, but...
No. I don't think I need to do it. You're the elected. You work for an
No, I'm
elected
asking
official.
if you
I
want
want
that's
your
better for
office
you.
to handle it because my efforts have failed.
Right, and so what I'm saying is that I'm happy to handle it.
Yes, we're happy to have this
We're
offline
happy
and
to do
support
this.
your needs, and we'll follow up on your behalf. But I know you were here last month as well, sharing those concerns. So thank you for sharing them again. We do need to make sure they're addressed. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for sharing the photos, but I will follow up with you tomorrow in the morning as soon as I get in. You'll be the first on my list, because I keep a list of all the constituents. So I will definitely look into it, and I will follow up with you then.
Please, and keep us posted too.
I will. I'll CC you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Any other questions, perhaps, for chance? Okay.
No.
Well, also, you can also call me. Call the office directly. If you feel like I've emailed you, I can't get in touch, call me.
We will. Thank you.
Please do. Thank you.
Interruption once more, and please be sure to stop by the cafeteria where there are cookies and delicious.
Can we have Cynthia next?
Hello. Bear with me, my allergies are killing me. So good evening, everyone. As you may know, my name is Cynthia. I'm the Director of Constituent Services and Legislative Coordinator at Councilmember Kevin Riley's office. Just to go over the usual, phone number is 718-684-5509, email is District 12, and we have 2 district offices, one at 940 East Gun Hill Road and one at 135 Einstein Loop, room 44 in Co-op City. So I want to kick this off legislatively. It is Small Business Month, and I know I had first highlighted it in March. Councilmember Riley had put in a bill, Introduction 645, 2024, to call upon the Department of Small Business Services to create a program that would match content creators with small businesses, skill building opportunity, empowering small businesses to be able to just invite new people that otherwise wouldn't have discovered their small business. We're currently launching a community petition where you can express your support for this bill. You can support it virtually at bit.ly/Riley Creative Business Pilot. First letter of each is capitalized. And I did also print out paper petitions today. I do also want to highlight that the New York City Small Business Services is having a Small Business Expo next week, Wednesday, May 29th at Pier 36 in Manhattan from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then in terms of our local community events, we're going to be kicking off Memorial Day weekend with a skate party at Seton Falls Park tomorrow, May 24th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. This will be happening, over by the tennis courts around the corner from the school. That's Baychester and Crawford. It'll be 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Skates are first come, first serve, or you can bring your own. We've had people bring their own in the past and have the time of their life. And then this Saturday, we're going to be having our community cleanup on White Plains Road with a full slate of community partners, including MPC and NYC H2O, who've been helping with our cleanup efforts throughout the district. So the meetup will be at 10 a.m. at White Plains Road and East 222nd Street. And if you're coming, if you can just RSVP through our link tree, linktr.ee/CM Kevin C. Riley. And everything I'm saying does have a flyer accompanied at the front. I saw some of you just like, and then next week, we're going to be having our community conversation in the Co-op City Section 5 Teen Center at 141 Einstein Loop East. That's Tuesday, May 28th, and that'll be at 6 p.m. And then we'll also be having our Know Your Rights informational session for individuals who have had contact with either ACS or within the justice system, or who just want to learn more about knowing your rights before something happens, or if you know someone that might have something happened or may happen. That'll be at Bridgefield Civic League at 3555 Laconia Avenue, Wednesday, May 29th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. And then I do want to let you guys know we're going to be closed for the holiday, and then also our Gun Hill Road office is going to be closed for maintenance for approximately 2 days. We'll still be available 718-684-5509 and at our Co-op City office. Any questions, comments, concerns?
That was quick. Thank you.
But yes, if you want to sign the petition, please.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
We have Dean that wanted to speak with SBS. Daniel. And Daniel, you're with?
Small Business Services.
Great.
So thank you so much, Cynthia. I feel like I can go now.
Yes.
But anyways, my name is Daniel. I'm here with the New York State Department of Small Business Services. And we're here going to all the community boards within the city to speak about the services we have to offer. So I'm not going to get too much into the expo, but if you do want to sign up for the expo, you go to nyc.gov/smallbiz-month. And we'll have more details over there, a run of shows. So I will be there too. So if you want to come and say hi to me, I look forward to seeing you at the expo. Besides that, we have our Workforce One centers for folks that are interested in looking for jobs, or if you're a business owner that's hiring, you can partner up with Workforce One centers. I left flyers in the back. We also have our business solution centers as well that help give everything from financial assistance to business course preps to helping with folks licensing. That is all information that's on the back as well. And then we recently just announced our business preparedness and resiliency grants. So we all understand, even today in the morning, how these storms are getting worse and worse for our businesses. So in certain eligible neighborhoods, you can get up to $5,000 in grant money to help you out in case something happens, because we understand what's going on and we understand that there might be some things here and there. So we're here more than happy to help. If you have any questions, I will be here for a couple of more minutes, but I'm more than glad to drop my cell phone number, 917-510-3070. And if you'd like to email me, you can feel free to email me, dflores@sbs.nyc.gov. Always more than glad to talk to more folks. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, more than glad to take them. Sure. 917-510-3070.
Thank you. And this is something that you should bring to our Economic Development Committee. The grant part for small businesses is super useful.
Sure, and I'll be sure to
we'll connect you with the chair.
Thanks. Hope to see you guys next week for Small Business Expo. Happy Small Business Month.
Great.
It's going to take place Pier 36, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pier 36 in the city. All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Any other representatives from elected officials' office in person before I move to online? Okay, we're going to go with Edili from Espaillat's office. Edili Espaillat, rather, from Representative Bowman's office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Beatrice. Hi, George. Most of you might not know me. My name is Adelia Espaillat, and I'm the Director of Constituent Services for Congressman Jamal Bowman, NY16. Our office information, I will be dropping it in the chat. I would like to highlight our office is providing mobile constituent services every Friday in May at the Community Board 12. Thank you so much for the space. My information will be listed in the chat, and if you have any questions, I'll be here till the end of the meeting, and I'm happy to answer those questions for you. And I'll keep it brief, and I'll pass it down to Beatrice. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Ronell. Ronell with Senator Bailey's. Yes.
Hi, this is Ronell from State Senator Bailey's office. I'm Senator Bailey's District Director. Our office is located at 959 East 233rd Street and is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you need any assistance, please contact us at 718-547-8854 or via email at senatorjbailey@nysenate.gov. You can also sign up for our email newsletter at www.nysenate.gov/SD36 for updates about events and other news in the community. Our office has partnered with New York Comic Pantry and Butler Church to provide 3 food distributions monthly. Every first and third Wednesday of the month, we have a food distribution at 12 p.m. at Butler Memorial United Methodist Church at 3920 Paulding Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10466. Every fourth Wednesday of the month, we have a food distribution at 2 p.m. at our district office at 959 East 233rd Street. Our next distributions are on Wednesday, June 5th at 11:30 a.m. at Butler Memorial United Methodist Church, and Wednesday, June 26th at 2 p.m. at our district office. So we have a number of events coming up as well. We are partnering with Strategy for Black Lives to present the Fatherhood Discussion Circle and Panel on Saturday, June 8th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Northeast Bronx YMCA. On June 21st, we will be hosting our Bronx Community Baby Shower at PS 121, the Throop School. And lastly, we are partnering with the New York Department of Labor to bring forward job series featuring workshops that culminate with a job fair hosted at the mall at Bay Plaza on June 27th. Also, more information for these events will be dropping shortly. Please frequent our social media and contact us again at 718-547-8854 to be added to our mailing list. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ivan Neds.
Hello, everyone. Ivan from Assemblyman Dinowitz's office here. Our office is still located at 3107 Kingsbridge Avenue for free notary services, as well as walk-ins for various issues with different agencies. I don't really have many updates, although I do want to thank all the residents that attended our free paper shredding event last Saturday in front of the Woodlawn Library. We had a pretty good turnout, so we were happy to see that. Additionally, a personal thank you to Community Board 12, especially George Torres, for helping host a meeting with our office, Congressman Torres, Senator Bailey, Councilmember Eric Dinowitz's office, as well as the Parks Department. We met with the 47th and 50th precincts to discuss the various issues that have been ongoing in the community. It was a good opportunity to speak directly with the precincts and sort of hear feedback about what they're seeing when they go out to either Jerome Avenue and Chandler Fields or the loud noise disturbances that have been going on there, as well as the ongoing car wash issue and tractor trailers on Webster Avenue and the Nereid Bridge tractor trailers. Those are all issues that we're continuing to look at, and it was a good opportunity for all of us to be in the same room. We've been brainstorming ideas, and I think we have a couple of things that we're going to try to put into action, but I will come back with those updates. But thank you to Community Board 12 and George for helping us host that meeting. I think that's it. Anybody interested in signing up for our newsletter can do so at dinowitz.us/newsletter for any updates and for upcoming events. And you can reach our office at 718-796-5345. And as always, I'll pop the information down into the chat. But thank you all for being here, and hope you guys enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Just a quick message to all of the elected officials, representatives that are here. I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the meeting where Judy Desiree from Uptown Boogie shared the list of needs that she has in order to make this open streets farmers market successful. So she could really use your support. If you can connect with her and see how you can provide that support, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, so that closes up our section of the elected officials, representatives updates. Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to the next part of the agenda. Just a few comments. We've been meeting on the request to our city council members, Councilmember Riley and Councilmember Dinowitz, the request for funding for a urban/city planner. And so just some updates. The city, Councilmember Riley's office asked for a letter in writing outlining our needs. And the first vice chair, second vice chair, and Luke Salados, we met with Councilmember Dinowitz on Monday. And he asked us for a few things. He wants us to identify some of the nonprofits that we would want to be working with, the cost. Ideally, we had set 10,000, but he just wants to make sure that we're not over asking or under asking. So we are going to put some numbers together. He mentioned that the city council may have some resources, and I just wanted to ensure that he's not overselling that if they are a resource for us, I'd like to know on behalf of the board, how many hours can they truly dedicate to the board weekly and monthly? And so, was anyone else there? First vice chair, second vice chair. Any comments on that? John? Did I capture everything? So we're working on that now. I know that Councilmember Riley'd like that letter as soon as possible because budgets are wrapping up. Cynthia, do you want to say anything on that? Okay, all right. Any questions before we move on? That was really my updates. We have 1 month left. June, we have a lot happening with land use, so we'll be moving to that shortly. But just please be mindful that your participation is important, especially these next few months. And then we go into recess July and August, so we have a lot to accomplish before recess. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to give the floor to George.
I'm going to try and be very quick because I don't want to take anybody's thunder on some of their reports. Our chair just mentioned that we have an election coming up, so it's important that everybody participate, which means please show up to June's meeting on time so that we can move through that process. It is a very lengthy process of voting, so please show up early. Our land use committee meeting met on June 10th. Again, I don't want to speak too much about it. Part of the follow-up for that was questions. We had additional questions for city planning. We sent emails out requesting board members submit questions if they had anything on the City of Yes housing opportunity. We did get some questions. We've put it together. I've shared it with the committee members, but we're gonna, I think Ursula sent it today or yesterday to all the board members. So if you want to add, but just keep in mind that our next meeting is June 10th for land use. So I want to get the questions to city planning in time so that they have an opportunity, because right now we're at 11 questions. So, you know, I don't want them to say that they don't have the ability to answer these questions. Part of that led to a conversation with DOT. So we were talking about City of Yes, housing economic opportunity, and I had to reach out to DOT to discuss the request from the Transportation Committee for a one-way study of traffic on Carpenter Avenue, which led to other conversations, and I don't want to get bogged down into the details. This will all be stated at the respective committees. But to everybody that's out in the virtual world and to everybody that's here, some of the things that we're contending with as a board, you are all contending, and we're trying to be mindful of the things that you request of us. So, you know, no parking or dealing with the bike lanes and the way the traffic is parked on White Plains Road. We're dealing with that. Ivan spoke to a meeting that they had organized because the residents of Woodlawn were complaining about noise from parties that were happening not within Community Board 12's area, the 47th precinct, but in the 50th precinct, Allen Schrader Park. Apparently, it becomes a party zone, and they bring all their vehicles and they pump music, and the people in Woodlawn can, I guess the way it bounces, it reaches the people of Woodlawn and they complain about it. So anyway, from that conversation, some interesting engineering proposals came up to deal with Webster Avenue and the traffic and the parking. That's a situation over there. And the same thing came up for Jerome Avenue. So we will refer all of these issues to Jerome Avenue, to Transportation Committee. There was a sidebar conversation about Wakefield Village, which I think is fascinating, and DOT and their concern about attaching to the bridge, to a bridge structure. So all of this stuff and all of these conversations are going to happen in committee. Our land use committee meeting was fairly well attended, but I know that there are a lot of people, because I get a lot of emails and I'm starting to share them with the board about, because we try to filter what we get, because we understand we send you dozens and dozens and dozens of emails and it gets a little overwhelming. But I want you to understand that, you know, constituents are reaching out to the board and asking us to act on these things. And we're trying to work with the NYPD. Alfredo and some of our other, Benga, were at the last Community Precinct Council meeting where I implored the traffic agents and the precinct commander to deal with the truck traffic, with the illegal parking on White Plains Road, to deal with the Carpenter Avenue should not be asking for a one-way conversion because they have no parking already. The signs are up already. The problem is that the NYPD is not writing summonses. So here the hospital is asking us to convert a street, which would negatively impact the rest of the surrounding neighborhoods. And the thing is, you can't out-engineer stupid, and that's a reference that one of the people at DOT always used to tell me when we had budget consultations. I'll add to that, you can't out-engineer a lack of enforcement. So because there's no enforcement, you see and you witness it on a daily basis what's happening on White Plains Road, on Webster Avenue, everywhere. So one of the things that was revealed at that meeting, at the precinct council meeting, was that traffic enforcement was there, a representative from traffic enforcement, and they said that they only have 6 officers for the whole borough of the Bronx. Not 6 officers for Community Board 12, 6 officers for the whole Bronx on the overnight shift to handle, and again, it should be noted that's normal, like those are for normal summonses. When you write a summons for a tractor trailer, you have to have special training, so they have a different unit within traffic enforcement that deals with that sort of thing. But that is woefully inadequate for the borough of the Bronx. And these are the sorts of things, the chair just leaned over to me to talk about district needs and stuff like that. These are the sorts of things that we should be asking for as a community board in our district needs statement. Like, we need more traffic enforcement agents to deal with these issues. So I will email everybody my report so you can read it. But as I always conclude, today is my 3,217th day as your district manager, or 8 years, 9 months, and 21st day of my tenure here. I'm grateful for each and every day at the board. Thank you for your patience, and good night. And have a great Memorial Day weekend, too.
Thank you, George. Next on the agenda, we are moving on to the approval of the board minutes for our March full board meeting. I'd like to make a motion to accept the report.
I second it.
Third.
Michelle, did you catch that?
Who made the motion? Who made who first?
Can you repeat who first the motion? Carl? Who seconded?
I'll do it, Robert Hall.
Robert Hall.
Anthony Reed.
Anthony Reed.
Yeah, third, we got a yes.
Bobby was second, right?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, we're going to make a motion for a unanimous vote. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? The yeas have it. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to our financial report.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to hear and see all of you. We're still at $2,660. Everyone, please get home safe and have a blessed and safe weekend.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to move on to our committee reports. First up, we're land use.
Yes, I'm going to turn over the report to my vice chair, Robert Link, who filled in for me at the last land use meeting.
Thank you, Carl. So the Land Use Committee met on May 13th. There was one item on the agenda. That was City of Yes housing opportunity. City of Yes housing opportunity is like a 1,500-page annotated text statute that is going to have transformative consequences for land use in the City of New York and CB12 in particular. It is very important that the community and the members of this board are intimately familiar with the bill. I prepared the annotated text. I prepared a 4-page overview. If you're interested in looking at that, you can reach out to me directly. There's a 40-page illustrated guide on City Planning's website. You could dig into the 1,500 pages of annotated text if you're so inclined. Another thing that I would suggest is going on the YouTube page for the Land Use Committee meeting and going ahead and watching that meeting. There were some very good questions and some, thoughtful dialogue, I think, from a lot of different perspectives. So if you sit down and you watch the presentation from City Planning and then you see the responses and the questions from the committee, I think you will be well informed for our vote, which is going to take place at the next board meeting. You can also attend the June 10th meeting, as George pointed out, and June 10th, City Planning is going to respond to some of the additional questions that we had. If you do have additional questions after reviewing materials or things you had heard in the community from friends who are familiar with City of Yes and maybe heard good things or bad things, it's important to get those questions to George immediately. So again, we have those responses in advance of the June 10th meeting. Okay, and as George pointed out, I mean, first thing is first, you want to come to the meeting prepared, but at least come to the meeting, right? Because we need to have a quorum so that we can vote on City of Yes. If there's not enough people here, we won't have a voice. So it's important to be here and not be on the phone, be here present in your seat. So that's it. Oh, I'll turn it back to Carl.
Yeah, I just want to give you a few pointers about the City of Yes program. Basically, we are very short of housing all over the city. And this so-called proposal is supposed to improve the housing availability. Right now, you have 1.4 vacancy rate in the city in housing. So they and through no fault of the community, it's actually through fault of the city government not following through what they're supposed to do for the communities they oversee. And what some of the things they want to do is any street over 75 feet wide, which we have a multitude in this district, they want to be able, even if it's zoned for 1 or 2 family houses, to be able to put up a 5-story apartment house, which I figure is probably on the low side about 25 families. Now, we have no parking as it is. You take 1 or 2 family houses, they have to be together, and tear them down, and you put this 5-story building up. You know, even though parking is a privilege, not a guarantee, where are you going to park? There is no reason to do this. And then another portion of this is they want to let people that own 1 or 2 family houses put a shack in the back of their backyard, 800 square feet, to rent out to people who need a place to live. The issue with this is you have to put in new sewer lines to the new location, water lines, gas lines, or whatever, and by the time this gets done, because we're forced not to be able to use gas anymore, it'll be an electric line to the place. But what it's going to make it look like a shanty town, if anybody knows what that is. That's an Irish saying. Even though I'm German, it's an Irish saying. And the other thing, where is the water and the sewage going from this new 800 square foot facility? It's going into the pipelines that we have now, which are substandard. 47 days a year, we overflow sewage into our rivers because the water treatment plant can't handle it. So, I mean, and this would cause additional stuff where we're cleaning up the rivers and everything so people can enjoy them. We would re-pollute these rivers, and which is unfortunate. And we're so substandard in storm sewers and storage sewers or combined sewers, which is basins and from the homes. And they're looking to, for the next 30 years, they will have to spend $1 billion a year to bring up these water lines, sewer lines, and storm sewers up to code. You figure it out, $1 billion a year for 30 years. And I just want to say, in my personal feeling, this is going to have a massive bad impact on this community. And we have enough issues without adding the city of Yes. And I really, to back up what Bob and George said, we need you to come out to the next Land Use Committee on June 10th to voice your opinion. And I ask you to please read Mike's 4-page thing, but it's better than reading 1,700 pages. 4 is, a little less. It wasn't so bad. Okay. Okay. But anyway, it's, we need to protect this community because we're being dumped on a regular basis. And the City of Yes is the worst proposal of all of the 3 City of Yes proposals they have. The other 2 weren't that great, but in some cases, most of the boards voted against 2, but since the first one had to deal with the environment, and people just jumped on and say yes, for City of Yes. So I don't only ask you, I beg you to come out, because I've been on this board 51 years, and I want to tell you something. This is one of the most intrusive things I ever seen come into this community. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I'd like to second that motion. It's important. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Transportation and Capital Projects Committee report. Well, we're not voting, but do you want?
That's just a report.
Yeah.
No, we haven't finished voting on it at land use. It was just an information.
It was just an update and urging everybody to participate and information.
Good evening, everyone. On May 9th, the Transportation and Capital Projects Committee met. On the agenda, we had the Department of Design and Construction. They did a presentation for the Wakefield Library, ADA upgrades. They're planning to add exterior ramps, a plaza, oil tank removal, an exterior lighting, vestibule, and a first floor toilet room for the library right around the corner or right next door. It's a very needed upgrade. They need a letter of support, and the committee voted in favor of this letter of support for the design and construction. And the next item on the agenda was we met with Montefiore Wakefield campus. We're still having conversation about converting Carpenter Avenue between 232nd and 233rd Street into a one-way. The committee recommended that we have a traffic study done. We don't need to vote on that item, but it was recommended that we need to have a traffic study because we're very concerned about the emergency vehicles traveling into the way of oncoming traffic and creating an issue. So we want a traffic study done. One of the suggestions that was made that evening was that if we have proper enforcement, which is the people respect the no parking zone, and also the removal of the food truck out there, it would relieve the congestion on that block between 222nd and 233rd Street. You know, it's a give and take situation. You know, If they could just move the truck down a little bit and leave the space open, then things will become better. Part of the problem is that I think people double park to get food from the truck and all that stuff. So it's a problematic area. Also, we had on the agenda 2 co-namings for AJ Quarry and for Lucille Boyle Wilson. No one showed up for either of those co-namings, but today I received a petition from the neighborhood with the area of AJ Quarry to have it named in favor of Bishop AJ Quarry Way. So we will revisit that at our next transportation meeting. And that's it. So we essentially need a letter of support for the library project next door.
Okay, this is Robert Hall. I make a motion that we give the letter of support.
They have to accept the report.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the report.
And I'll second that.
And we need a letter of support for.
I make a motion, this is Robert Hall, I make a motion that we get a letter of support for the library regarding the concerns that were aforementioned.
Second.
And Deborah Walker, second from.
Great. Carl, you have anything to say on the Wakefield hospital?
Oh, no, the other one?
Yeah.
We know, traffic said he would do the traffic study.
Yeah. Okay.
So we asked it, we called them, they said they were gonna do it, so let them do it.
Okay, yeah.
Is that truck mandated to be there, or could this be negotiated that he move down?
Robert, he doesn't wanna move.
Oh.
Okay, he doesn't even take the truck home.
Okay.
He leaves it there overnight in a no standing area.
Okay, so we have to obstruct the permanency. Okay, I get it. All right.
But a hospital likes food truck.
Yeah, so does everyone.
Is this truck between 222nd, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, one mic, please. Sorry.
Is it between 233rd and 232nd?
Yes.
Right outside the hospital. Right, because I know it used to be one across the street between like 233rd and 234th, which would, oh, he just.
Yeah, it was too far for the hospital employees to walk, so they moved it.
Okay, thank you all. Just want to continue to move along. Last item on the agenda, new business, where we're talking about the nominating committee. Has the floor.
Hi, my name is Bobby Link. I am the chair of the nominating committee, the executive nominating committee. I want to thank the members of the nominating committee. We met on May 13th, Alfredo, Sherry E., Banga, and Wayne. We reviewed the fact that the current slate of the executive committee is all running for re-election. That's Clinton Mike, first vice chair, John Isaacs, second vice chair, Judith Benitez, correspondence secretary, Michelle Brumfield Armstrong, records recording secretary, Talene Dickerson, treasurer, and Beatriz Coronel, chairperson. If anyone wants to challenge one of those individuals who is currently running for re-election, this would be the opportunity to be nominated, and so I'll open the floor for that.
Not challenged, I just have a question.
Sure.
In regards to vice chair.
Go ahead, get a microphone.
Hey, I'm just asking not as a challenge to any of the incumbents, but if someone wants to run for vice chair, do they also have to be a part of this, or is that something that could be settled afterwards?
So, pardon me, the current executive committee consists of a chairperson, a first vice chair, a second vice chair, a correspondence secretary, a recording secretary, and a treasurer. The individuals who are in those positions are all running for re-election. You have an opportunity at this moment, if you want to nominate somebody, to challenge one of those individuals. Otherwise, when the executive nominating committee meets next time, we'll prepare a ballot that is consistent with the existing membership, and it will be a very relatively easy process of voting next month.
Actually, if there's no challenges, we don't have to.
I have a question. Is this a first term for everyone who's currently on office?
No.
How many terms? I would like to know how many terms each person, because I believe you need more than one term when fulfilling a position, because it takes a while to get acclimated and actually be able to, pursue that position as well as you should, and it would benefit the rest of us. So if everyone can just please tell me how many terms.
This is my second.
Oh, well, let the committee members speak.
Yeah, we're just completing our second.
I'm completing my first term,
Your second term.
running for the second term.
40 years.
4 years, that's what you said?
40.
40 years in the same position?
No, not the same position.
No, in your current position as an executive
Right.
officer.
Yeah.
As an executive officer.
I don't even know. I'll be honest. More than. I gotta ask Ursula. More than 10.
And what position you hold again?
That was
Second vice chair? Okay, thank you.
I think second vice chair, and first vice chair.
He's currently the
Right,
second vice
see, I'm new to the board.
Yeah.
I do know that it does take more than one term sometimes, more than two. It's a one-year position. I truly believe someone should be at least 3 years in one position so we can actually know how well and how, you've become accurate and see the improvement that is made to know whether or not you should hold that position again. I'm just being honest what I know from experience, and that's the only reason why I'm asking.
I think Carl wanted to be recognized.
Your question is very well rounded. The point is, yes, we have experienced people sitting on the executive board right now. They got to have a handle on things. Look, I was on the executive board for 18 years before I moved off the board. So,
Yes.
yeah, no, but the point is important to have people
Yes.
consecutive.
Right.
Carl, I have the floor. I need my question answered.
Carl
Then
is
you can
agreeing.
say whatever you like.
But he's agreeing with you that it is
I
important.
understand it. Yeah.
It's very important.
So you want to know the rest of the members.
Right.
Michelle?
I'm completing this would be my second year. I'm recording.
Talene?
Yes, this is Talene Dickerson. I'm the treasurer, and I do believe this is my 4th term as treasurer.
And Judith, I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Her 4th term.
Sorry, I have a just follow-up question for that.
And I just want to say that I've been making meetings, excuse me, I do have the floor. I've been making meetings here for about 4 years. I do remember Talene from the very first meeting. I remember Robert Hall. And Talene's been doing a wonderful job. I mean, she's on point, seriously. Even if things are out of order, I remember her being very vocal. I'm just curious because I feel that everyone here should be elected, re-elected. No one should be running against them. Because for the last couple of years, I've got to know you through Zoom, whether you guys knew it or not. And I just want to reaffirm my position that everyone should stay on the board. No one should be challenging them at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay, can I ask mine? Statement and question. The question is, what is in the bylaws? Because I understand we do want people with expertise in certain positions, but we also have to go off of like what the bylaw is. So if the bylaw is that it's 3 years, 4 years, or whatever have you, then that's one thing. If it's not, that's another thing. And I do appreciate all your hard work, but if that's not in the bylaws, then I feel that if somebody wants to, you know, challenge that, then they're kind of open to that. My question is, what's in the bylaws of how many, you know, like if it's a first, second, how many turns can a person? Yeah.
Okay, so all board members have term limits now. So people who've been on the board for some time, I think most of us have 4 years left before we have to go. But there are no limits on how long you can hold a particular role, whether it's an executive board role or a committee role. So we had talked about that at some point. There are no limits on that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I meant that how many, like, let's say, I know that you're only been on, you said the board 1 year. Like, if you wanted to, you know, I'm saying, like, how, if the bylaws say a year or two, like, it depends on what the bylaws say. What's the criteria for somebody who wants to challenge? Like, I respect their work, but the bylaws.
Anybody can challenge. It was discussed at some point years ago, should somebody have to be a board member for 3 years, say, before they're allowed to run, but that nobody voted in favor of that. So anybody can run for any position. It's a democracy, you know. If people vote them in, they get voted in. If people don't have confidence because they got here 10 minutes ago, then maybe they won't get voted in. It's up to all of you.
So Ariel, real quick, every executive position has 1 year term. That's why we do this every year. The only difference is in 2019, the city council, the city charter revision commission put term limits on board members. So now board members, you're all on the clock. So that's what the point Carl is making is that I thought, Carl, and I might be mistaken, I thought we did have term limits. I think the board did vote in favor of, not term limits, but new board members had to be on the board for 2 years prior to running for executive office. Yeah, that was the agreement that we had come up with, and that's what's in the bylaws. So you have to have at least 2 years experience, and each term is 1 year. That's why we do this every year. There's been conversations about creating term limits for executive officers. There's questions. Again, this is all part of the package that I had put before the board quite some time ago. Having board members serve not only as executive committee members, but also as committee members. Because you now only have 8 years, you have 4 2-year consecutive terms. So, you know, in the past, we've had board members that been here 30 plus years that were the chair for that long. Lately, we have not, but that's your answer. Every year, we have an election. We can change that. I think Carla's committee explored, because you're appointed for 2 years, serving 2 years so that we don't have to do this every year, because it's yeah. Yeah, you have to, the bylaws, again, I thought we voted in the positive. Carla's saying that we didn't, but I thought we did. Yeah.
It's cool. Hey, again. All right, so to confirm, there is no minimum stipulation. If you want to run, run. Yay. My question was, if you wanted to be in charge of a committee, what would be the process with that? I'm leaning it over to Bob.
Yeah, the chair makes a determination about who the committee members and who the chair of the committee is going to be. That has nothing to do with what we're doing with the executive committee, which is a vote of the board.
And that would happen when?
That'll happen next year. You know, right. Well, when the year after our summer break, when we start up again for a new year of the community board. So, is there a nomination? Okay.
I think we're doing pretty good.
All right. Well, with that, we'll return this work to the committee. Thank you.
Since there's no challenges to the recommendation of the nominating committee, so we take a motion that we approve the nominations committee's recommendations, and next month we vote on it to make it legal.
I remember one time, and I believe it was Darlene that corrected you about 2 years ago. You have to wait for the deadline. As of that time, the person has to challenge, and then if there is no challenge, the board is automatically, the one that's in place now, automatically put in.
Well, there is no challenge, so.
You have to wait exactly for the deadline, because you already said nominations, that when the nominating committee comes back, you have to wait for the nominating committee to come back at the set deadline. The person who would like to challenge can still challenge. If there's no challenge, then everyone here is put onto that committee. That position automatically.
Excuse me. The issue with that is, if we don't decide tonight, and we go into June, and then we have a conflict, somebody wants to be the first vice chair or the chair or the treasurer, then we won't be able to sit the new executive board until September. And we want to get it done by June, so we open with a clean slate in September. And that's the way we used to do it. But the issue is that we keep getting sidelined with people coming in contradicting what the rules are, and that's why we have the issues. Because otherwise, paper ballots will have to be made up. Ursula will have to send it to every board member, and they choose person A or person B for the position.
That makes you both right. You're both right. You're both right.
Okay, Carl, you said the same thing last year. I actually remember word for word, this is the same exact thing you said, and it was still voted on. It was decided that you would have to wait to the deadline, and September is when the person would come in. Also, it's June, right? Yeah. But automatically we put you in June if no one challenges.
You're right, Ms. Echeverria. You're right. You're absolutely right, but Carl is right too. And we can end it next month. That will be the finalization. And we can go forward.
If we don't end it next month, it goes to September.
Exactly.
Which is not beneficial.
That's when
to
Ursula
the board.
does the paper ballots and all hell breaks loose.
I'm sorry, one at a time. We have Deborah and then Robert.
Okay, my view is that since there's this.
I'm sorry, guys, one mic, please.
Because
Wayne, George.
Because there is this discrepancy, where is it written? Just bring out where the rules are. All right, well, where are the bylaws? We're here in the office. There should be a set of bylaws here.
I don't think there's a discrepancy. I mean, I think we have an executive committee that is running for re-election, and no one has been announced as challenging the executive committee. I think the opportunity next is for the executive nominating committee to put forward the current executive committee to run for re-election. There's been no challenges, and then we'll have a vote next month. I think this is a relatively simple ordeal. I think it's time to move forward. I appreciate everyone's comments, and if they, when they have something to add, they can talk to me offline.
Great.
I make a motion to accept the nomination committee's suggestion.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no recommendation from the committee.
Right. Just to be clear, Carl, to be clear, the executive nominating committee is going to meet in early June, probably on June 10th. We haven't come up with a specific date, but right, because we're meeting anyway. So we will make a recommendation and a report, and we'll make a determination at that meeting. We opened it up at this meeting to see if anyone wants to run, and nobody wants to run.
Right,
So there we go.
After your June 10th meeting, you have your decision made, and then on whatever date it is, for the Thursday meeting, you bring it up, we approve your nominations, and we take the secretary casts one vote in favor of the nominating committee.
Thank you. Yes.
Great. All right, thank you. And that concludes our meeting. We're closing our meeting at 8:46. Can I get a motion to close?
I make a motion
Third.
to close, Anthony Reed.
Have a great evening. Remember, we have a lot happening next month. See you then.